What is going on, Arizona sports fan family? How are we doing out here today on this lovely Thursday morning? What's going on, everybody? Hopefully, everybody's having a great day. Huge shout out to everybody that's currently in the chat right now. We are here to open up another live stream with your host, AZ Sports Fan, aka Mike. What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you guys. What are you guys doing today in this lovely Thursday morning so far? Let me know in the chat, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's got their cup to go ahead and wake them up because it's still pretty early, ladies and gentlemen. We got a fun-filled show today. We are going to talk about Kyler Murray and the injuries, and as well as Matthew Stafford. And we're also going to recap or do our best to recap the Hard Knocks episode that we ended up seeing yesterday. Now, this is all my fault. I told you guys that I was going to be doing a reaction video to Hard Knocks. And honestly, when I was done watching Hard Knocks, I don't really know exactly how I felt. Like, I felt very indifferent. So I'm like, no, let's just wait till we do the podcast at 10:30 in the morning today. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about it here with you guys and how I felt about, the HBO series and Hard Knocks. And we're going to basically talk and dive right into it. But definitely huge shout out to everybody that's currently in the chat right now. We got the same. What's up the same? We got Jordan, we got Eddie, Mike, Joey, AZ Cards, MMVV. What's up, everybody? Appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you guys haven't yet already subscribed, definitely subscribe to the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. We are just climbing and climbing and climbing. We're trying to get to 20K, and yes, we're very far away from that goal, but we can do it if we all band together. And if you guys haven't done so already, smack the like button on this video. Right now, we're sitting with 34 people. We should at least have 34 likes on this video. So definitely subscribe it up and smack the like button for the algorithm. Let's dive right into recapping Hard Knocks, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and do this, right? I got some notes here. I ended up rewatching Hard Knocks this morning, or not the whole thing, but I was like fast forwarding to making sure that I got my notes and everything situated. So let me see if I can do my best to kind of recap the Hard Knocks episode for you guys and how you felt about Hard Knocks. So it starts off after the Vikings game. Now, to me, I think this is my fault. I should have known, or I should have did a little bit more research. I thought that the Hard Knocks episode was going to take place right from the beginning of the season, right? But it didn't at all. It took place pretty much the week of the Seahawks game, which was this last week. So as of right now, they're still filming Hard Knocks, which I wasn't fully aware of that. I thought we were doing a full season and they're basically just recapping and kind of doing like 2 or 3 weeks in an episode. I thought that's what they were going to do, but it's not what they did at all. So what happened was they started from Seahawks game this last week, but how this episode started was after the Vikings game. Obviously, we lost. There's a lot of announcers talking about like, hey, this was the game that we wanted to get right. And then we see Kyler Murray basically walking into the locker room himself, very, very disappointed, his head down. And then when he sits in his locker room, he grabs his helmet and just bam, just smashes it on the ground. There is I don't know who it is, but a guy that obviously works for the Cardinal organization comes up and pats him in the back, and then he does the whole helmet thing and slams it into the ground. So after that, cue in the intro of Hard Knocks, all that different stuff. After that happened, there was a lot of obviously meetings and stuff like that. It happens with Cliff Kingsbury, the coaches, all that different stuff. One of the big segments that happened was that we got a chance to kind of get into the view of, Cliff Kingsbury and who he is, right? We stepped into his house. He talked about, some portraits and stuff like that for Cliff Kingsbury. Really kind of got to know him as a person, which is cool. I don't know. I mean, the way that I feel about Cliff, I don't dislike Cliff as a person. I think he's a wonderful person. And I really do wish that this would succeed for Cliff Kingsbury. It's just obviously 4 years in and we're still having some struggles. I mean, you gotta have to kind of pull the plug one way or another. But so the meetings happen with Cliff Kingsbury and the coaches. Now, Cliff Kingsbury does end up, obviously, talking to the players, and he talked to the coaches, and basically he says a lot of the same things, right? He brings up the standings and shows everybody in kind of a auditorium format where he's standing there, kind of like a seminar, and everybody's like sitting behind, and he's telling everybody, hey, it's still winnable. Our best football is in front of us, all that different stuff, right? Saying all the good things that coaches should be saying. The thing that I've noticed, now I might be looking too much into it, but a lot of the players were just kind of sitting there, right? Like either looking over there. Like, I don't know. I just feel like the intensity, the focus, nothing was quite there when Cliff Kingsbury was talking. I do think Cliff Kingsbury is saying all the right things. It's just, I don't know. It seems like a perfect example of players that don't see the final vision, don't see the final goal, is what I caught when Cliff Kingsbury was talking to his team. Now, not only his team, there was also a coach meeting as well. Now, to me specifically, like, I look too much into things, and that's on me, but I did notice a lot that the coaches were like really far and behind, right? Sitting in the back row. Now I know, don't look into it, Mike. I get it, but there's a lot of coaches sitting in the front row, back row. There's probably like one or two in the front, and everybody's like sporadic, and it's kind of all seems to be like a job, right? It all kind of seems like, we're here so we don't get fined type of thing. So I don't know, like I'm hearing all the good things, but I don't know if it's actually being reciprocated with the team. Obviously, recapping the good and the bad as well happened. They recapped, the Vikings game, the good being the Raiders game that we ended up coming back. So that was kind of cool to see. And obviously that type of fashion of the, the Hard Knocks fashion, that was pretty awesome. And then after that, then they showed us Cliff Kingsbury's, house tour, and that he drowns out all the noise. And, there's a lot of chatter going around with Cliff Kingsbury and his job, yada, yada, yada. He says he basically drowns it out. He doesn't like hearing it. And I honestly don't blame him. I wouldn't like to either if I was in that position. And then specifically right after that, this is kind of where it gets a little bit more juicier, where DeAndre Hopkins comes back, right? So the moment DeAndre Hopkins comes back, they had this whole segment about, his 2 games back. He was a big focal point in this offense, and, this and that. And then there was a coach basically hyping up DeAndre Hopkins. Hey, man, you're the man. You are, the Hall of Famer, all this different stuff. And, just trying to hop up DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think DeAndre Hopkins needs that. Like, I don't think he does. Like, I think he knows that he's probably one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. But, coaches coach differently, right? I mean, I'm not knocking on the guy for doing that, but I mean, it is what it is. Now, after the whole, DeAndre Hopkins thing, Budda Baker got a good portion of the segment of this Hard Knocks series. Now, that's the unfortunate part, right? Because Budda Baker, yes, he was a big portion of this Hard Knocks series, but the downfall is that obviously, he got hurt. Right. And he did actually get hurt. I know I saw some comments out there saying like, oh, they're faking it, right? Kyler's faking it, Budda's faking it. No, like truthfully, like they actually got hurt in the Seahawks game, and they said it to their teammates. So we'll talk a little bit about that once we get towards the end. Just give me about 2 or 3 more minutes while we keep recapping. So we look into Budda's life, right? We see his sister, we see his mom. They kind of get a family dynamic. It's cool, it's gravy, but you really know, right? Budda Baker's the heart and soul of this defense. Like that's what it is. Budda Baker's the heart and soul of this defense. And it's crazy to me too that when Budda Baker was talking like to everybody, like I get it. Like it seemed like everybody was like praying, right? Kind of like getting to that moment where they're all having like a kumbaya moment. The moment Budda Baker was like yelling and screaming and trying to get everybody hyped up, like, I don't know. I just saw a lot of stone cold faces. I just saw a lot of people that were like obviously resonating with Budda Baker, but were not receiving the message, right? So, missing Budda Baker for 2 or 3 weeks, including this Rams game, is going to be pretty tough for the Arizona Cardinals moving forward. But hey, I mean, we have injuries and we just kind of need to deal with it. Right after that happens, then we start focusing into the most recent game, right? Now we start focusing on the Cardinals versus the Seahawks game. Budda Baker comes out and basically tries to hype everybody up. He says a lot of good things like, "Hey man, this is it. This is the comeback game. This is the game that we need to go ahead and fight for. This is division. We got to play pissed off." But honestly, I think the other person that was playing pissed off was Budda Baker. You know what I mean? Like that's truly how I feel. I think Budda Baker is the only one that feels this type of way, and he puts it out on the field. So we start seeing a little bit of that. And then obviously they recap Cardinals versus the Seahawks, and then we lose again. Now, one of the big things that I want to talk about here real quick is that I made a tweet pertaining to DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray yelling at each other. Now, one of the best things about this Hard Knocks episode is that we finally got to hear what DeAndre Hopkins said to Kyler Murray. We finally got to hear what he said, and I was right, ladies and gentlemen. I was right. DeAndre Hopkins was pissed off at Kyler Murray because he wasn't getting the ball. And everybody was like, "Oh, this is football, ladies and gentlemen. They're talking football. They're talking football, blah, 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 blah." No. DeAndre Hopkins was pissed because he wasn't getting the ball. And exactly what DeAndre Hopkins said was, "Hey, bro, what are you looking at? What are you seeing?" Because insinuating that he was open. The ball should be going to DeAndre Hopkins. And how Kyler Murray responded was, "Calm the F down. You will get the ball." calm the F down, you will get the ball. And when Cliff saw this happening, Cliff ended up bringing the offense together. Now, here's the thing, right? I'm not knocking that Cliff isn't doing the right things. I think Cliff is trying to do everything he possibly can to get this locker room corrected. I think he is. I honestly think he is, and that's why I feel bad for him. But it's not working. He's not the guy to rein these men in, because he tried it. The moment he saw his two stars, the quarterback and the wide receiver, get into it, Cliff Kingsbury brought them all together. He said, "Offense, everybody come together. We got to stick together." So DeAndre Hopkins was mad at Kyler Murray. So for all the people that said, "Oh, it's football," no. DeAndre Hopkins said, "Boy, what are you looking at?" He was frustrated that he was not getting the ball. And Kyler Murray said, "Calm the F down. You will get the ball. Calm the F down. You will get the ball." Now, in this game, Kyler Murray did pull his hamstring. Before halftime, he was talking to the trainer and said, "Oh my God, I think I pulled a hammy." And he was like, "All right, we'll stretch it out, in halftime." So he ends up finishing the game with a hamstring issue. And Budda Baker does have an ankle injury towards the end of the game. Now, obviously, they're both troopers. They're still staying out there and trying to win this game for the Arizona Cardinals. So there is that. So it is real. It happened. I heard them talk to their teammates, and they're not going to lie to their teammates, right? So there's that. Now, during this game, we got a chance to see Steve Keim, and we got a chance to see Michael Bidwell. Boy, did they not look happy at all. Boy, did they not look happy at all. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you're not happy. I get it. But truthfully, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Keim, you put this on the field. This is the team that you built out in 2022. So instead of you being pissed off, this is on you. This is what you brought into the field. Right there. That's what you brought. So Michael Bidwell and Steve Keim want to win. I don't think we've ever doubted that for a second, right? I guess I doubted it, right? To me, I still do think Michael Bidwell is in it for the money more than anything. But the way that Hard Knocks was showing them watching the game was almost very similar to how I watched the game. Pissed off, excited, pissed off again. It's an emotional roller coaster is the way that Hard Knocks was describing and the way they were pointing towards them. But honestly, it's like looking at any other fan, right? We get the exact same way. It's a roller coaster. Good things happen, bad things happen. That's what we saw in this game. That's the best way to recap it. The way that it ended was still following Budda Baker into his house, and then he talks to his sister. His sister basically tells him, "Boy, what you guys didn't do good, right? You guys did terrible." And then she said, "What's the mood in the locker room?" And he said, "Everybody's pissed. Everybody's pissed off. Nobody's talking. It's quiet. Everybody's pissed off." JJ Watt does come out and try to make a post-game speech, but honestly, I think it's falling on deaf ears at this point. I think it's falling on deaf ears at this point. I'm worried about the energy in this locker room. I'm worried about the energy in this locker room. So let me get to the super chat here real quick. Jason says, "And the truth comes out. Cliff lost the locker room." Yeah, I mean, I think you're 100% right. I don't think there's any doubt here in anybody's mind that when you're looking at Cliff Kingsbury talk, although his intentions are good, although the intentions of him to try to be the guy to rein them in, I don't think anybody trusts Cliff. I don't think anybody sees the vision of what Cliff Kingsbury is saying. I truly don't. I absolutely, truly don't. Now, when I rewatched this Hard Knocks again this morning, because obviously I needed to do my notes, I liked it a little better. But my initial reaction to Hard Knocks last night was this tweet. I said, "I just watched HBO Hard Knocks. It was okay. Very edited. I think I was just expecting more." That's my initial reaction of Hard Knocks last night. I rewatched it this morning, right, for my notes and for the show. Honestly, I liked it a little better, but honestly, I was still hoping a little more. I wanted to see from the beginning is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see what the locker room looked like from the beginning, because obviously right now we're going into week 10. Majorly, we were looking into week 9. That's kind of the present time and when this episode took place. So I'm pretty sure there was like 8 weeks that we didn't really see very much in going on, right? So I don't know, like, you're seeing this Arizona Cardinal team, right, doing the things that they need to do, right? The meetings look like a classroom, like a college classroom, right? You got the coach for that specific position. They got a projector. And you got people, you got the players just kind of sitting there watching. It looks like a college classroom is what it looks like. It doesn't look like there's really much going on other than that. Now, granted, yes, they're learning, right? They're learning. I understand that. But I don't know. I expected more from players, I guess. Not Buddha, because we know what Buddha is, right? We know. I don't think we need Hard Knocks to know what Buddha brings to this organization. I don't think we need Hard Knocks to know what JJ Watt brings to this organization. We don't, right? I wanted to see the other players. Now, granted, it was just episode 1. So I'm curious to figure out what the next episodes are going to bring for the Arizona Cardinals moving forward, because truth be told, even in Hard Knocks, they said these next 3 games, including the Seahawks game, is going to determine the season. And we've been talking about that since the beginning of the season. This tough stretch right here, the Seahawks, the Rams, and the 49ers are going to determine the season. It's true. It's going to determine the season and what is going to happen for this Arizona Cardinal team. I don't think they're hitting adversity very well, honestly, right? Watching the recap video, right? Kyler Murray, especially after the Viking game, he was pissed off, walking alone, didn't really say very much to anybody else other than a loud screaming of the F word going into the locker room. And then when he sits down, slams his helmet onto the floor. I love the fire. I love it. It's just, what are we doing about it? Right? The days of talk, the days of we've done this, we've done that, it should be over at this moment. We want to see action. We want to see wins pertaining to the Arizona Cardinals. Let me get to another super chat from my guy Jason. He says the players aren't responding at all. It's evident. Yeah, 100%. Facts. Yeah, there's no sugarcoating this. You're 100% right. The players don't seem to be responding. So, I mean, it might be a player issue as well, right? It might not just be, oh, Cliff. It might be just be the players. Maybe we're just not that good. Maybe the players are just not that good. And I don't mean the stars. The stars are good, right? You got your Zach Ertz, JJ Watt, and stuff like that. But everybody else, the surrounding cast that Steve Keim put together, maybe they just don't have that. Maybe they just don't have the spark. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but that's kind of my recap of Hard Knocks. Hopefully I did a good job. If not, no worries. Watch it yourself, and you can spend about 45, 46, 48 minutes to kind of spend your time sitting down and watch it. Obviously, it's better than what I did, but there you go. Let's jump right into the injuries, ladies and gentlemen. I went ahead and posted a poll yesterday, and I think I got a lot of people upset, and that wasn't the intention at all. Just FYI, I ended up posting a poll about this yesterday on my community tab. If you guys don't know, the community tab on YouTube is the best way for me to kind of communicate back and forth with you guys. If I'm going to be doing this, if I'm going to do that, am I going to miss a live stream, all this different stuff. And I also put, polls. I ended up posting this poll. I said, who's starting this week for the Cardinals at QB? Is it Kyler Murray or is it Colt McCoy? 749 people voted. So I appreciate you guys for voting. Astounding numbers. Said 40% said Colt, and 60% said Kyler Murray. Now, obviously, the people that don't keep up, with the Arizona Cardinals pretty frequently, or don't watch all my videos, and I'm not saying watch my videos, but I mean, I do my best to try to, keep you guys in the loop on what's going on. This poll was not to say that Kyler Murray does not deserve week 10 starting spot. It's not, right? I wasn't saying that Kyler Murray sucks, bench him. I'm not saying that. What I was saying was basically answering to this tweet that we ended up seeing to Ian Rappaport. And Ian Rappaport reported yesterday that Kyler Murray is considered day-to-day with a hamstring issue. Not nothing, but not catastrophic. Stay tuned this week. So that poll was in direct correlation to this. It wasn't because me saying, oh, Kyler Murray doesn't deserve it, right? Kyler Murray doesn't deserve it. No, I wasn't saying that. I was just saying Kyler Murray is hurt with a hamstring issue. Is he going to start or is he not going to start? Now, obviously, with the comments that we ended up getting on that poll, I was very surprised with a lot of people, saying the things that they said as well, right? Things like, hey, it's over, pack it up, just put Colt McCoy in there. Let's see what he can do, that type of stuff. But it's definitely something that we need to look into, right? We need to kind of figure out what's going to happen with Kyler, because Kyler might be not available this Sunday for the Arizona Cardinals. And imagine if Colt McCoy gets the job. Imagine if Colt McCoy wins against this weekend. Oh my God. Imagine it, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine what the people are going to say about that. Let me go ahead and get to this super chat. Appreciate you, Jonathan, with the $10 super chat. He says, Hard Knocks showed that there is no team. Looks like everyone is there for a check only. Boom. Jonathan with the cute. Yeah, clutch. Absolute clutch. I mean, you're right. It's what I try to explain. Literally, when you're looking at them in the meeting, when you're looking at these players in the meeting, you have a dark room, you have people sitting there, you have some people doodling, just looking at the street. It looks like a college course. It's what it looks like. It looks like a college course and what's going on. Nobody seems to be engaged, or at least within the 5 to 10 seconds or 30 seconds that we got a chance to take a look into it, right? We saw a lot of coaching saying things like, oh, look at this. This is 12 yards that you did here. Look at this. This is another poor effort. Look at Budda Baker. He's the man, right? We saw a lot of that. But you're right. You're right. To me, I don't see the fire in a lot of these players' eyes at all. I just see them being like, okay, cool. I mean, I'm here so I won't get fined. Like that's what I initially see a lot of the players kind of sitting there saying. Now, let's continue back with Kyler Murray and his injury. Kyler Murray is not faking it. For the people that were saying it in the comments of this poll, Kyler Murray is not faking this injury. He said that he pulled his hamstring during the Seahawks game. He told his trainer, the Hard Knocks camera caught it, and he said, okay, well, let's stretch it out. All right, let's try to stretch it out in halftime. They did that. He came back, and then the rest is history. So it seems like he's still struggling with that hamstring issue, which is a possibility that he might not be able to play for the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday. Now, that's not the only big breaking news that we've seen going into this Rams game. We also heard this as well from Ian Rappaport, and he says potentially significant. Quarterback Matthew Stafford is in the NFL's concussion protocol, Coach Sean McVay announced. So it's not just the Arizona Cardinals' Kyler Murray quarterback being hurt, right? It's not just him. So, I mean, we might see a battle of the backups. We might see backup quarterbacks, or we might see both quarterbacks come out here and, we try to wheel their team into a winning position, because both of us right now are sitting in a spot that nobody saw coming. The Rams fans didn't think that they were going to be a 3-win team. The Cardinals fans didn't think that they were going to be a 3-win team going into week 10. We didn't think that. But here we are, right? This is who we are. We're a 3-6 team. It is who we are. Let me get to Jason with another super chat. He says, both lines are atrocious. No upgrade by Keim. I agree, Jason, 100%. So we have two players, potentially huge storylines that we need to follow. Now, I did mention to you guys before, right? When you're looking at the injury report on Wednesdays, don't really pay attention too much to it. I've said this before, where I've been on live streams. I said this on videos before, like, hey, don't really worry too much attention about the Wednesday injury reports. But I feel like this one's a little different, right? We got our quarterbacks on there with obvious injuries. Kyler Murray with the hamstring, and then Matthew Stafford with the concussion injury, which now that the NFL has seen what Tua Tagovailoa went through with, obviously, during that primetime game, nobody's going to want to mess with concussions anymore. So be very under the understanding that we might not see both starting quarterbacks, whether it's Matthew Stafford out or Kyler out in this game. I don't think one, I'm not going to say one injury is more significant than the other. It's just, obviously, I think the concussion protocol is going to be a little bit more seen under a microscope because of what Tua Tagovailoa went through. So the NFL is going to be a little bit more precautious into putting him, especially because he went into the protocol, I believe it was yesterday. So that's Wednesday, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's 4 days away from game time. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens in that game. Now, one little quick plug here real fast. We did actually get another player in case you guys care. The Arizona Cardinals are continuing to add pieces into their offensive line. We ended up adding Wyatt Davis yesterday. We claimed him off of waivers, just FYI. There is that. Let's continue to talk about this Arizona Cardinal team and Kyler Murray. So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be very, very interesting to see where this is going to go down to. Let's move over to Jason here. Jason, I appreciate you. Give my man a clap here. Appreciate that you're always here, always rocking with the AZ Sports Fan. I thank you so very much, Jason. He says, Mike, what do you think of Kyler's leadership? Bro, Oh man, you're having me walk into this trap, aren't you, huh? It's a Thursday and you're having me walk into this trap. Okay, well, since you so graciously donated, since you so graciously sent a contribution over to the AZ Sports Fan, let me answer this for you. I'm not convinced, as of right now, I'm not convinced that Kyler Murray can wield a team into a winning position if things don't go our way in the beginning. I know there's a lot of steps. I know you wanted one answer. I know you did, but I'm gonna answer it like that. I'm not convinced that Kyler Murray is going to be able to win the big games if adversity hits us in the beginning, right? Things don't work. The throws aren't working. D-Hop is in your ear. Cliff is yelling at you. All the stuff that's going against the Arizona Cardinals, the self-inflicted wounds. I don't think Kyler Murray is going to be able to wield us into a big time position. Now, yes, he did get us a win in the Raiders. Give him that, right? We'll give him that. I just want to see less yelling. I want to see, not less yelling. I want to see less calm the F down. This is what we'll do, right? I don't know. I would like him to talk more. Like, I don't know. Like, it's hard to answer this question. It really is, because we've been talking about leadership from Kyler for quite some time, right? Like, it's been since years. I believe it was like year 3 last year since we were talking about it. Like, we're concerned of his leadership skills moving forward, and we're just we're here. You know what I mean? We're here in this position right now. So as of right now, unless Kyler can prove that we can win a game, a big game, and I mean playoff, or a game that needs us to get into the playoffs, or a game that has so much weight into it. Once we can win that big game when adversity punches us in the face, at this very moment, I can't say I'm fully 100% confident in the leadership skills of Kyler. I know that was a long answer. I know that was a long one, but that's my answer. Let me get over here to MGO with the super chat. He says, our team is dead. And it's sad. Nobody cares about Cliff and his speech. And also, I want to see Kyler be a leader and see other players. Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's one of the biggest takeaways that we've seen, right? What's one of the biggest takeaways that we've seen in this Hard Knocks episode? One of the biggest takeaways that we've seen. When Cliff talks, I don't see the reciprocation from other players. I don't see the reciprocation from the other coaches. Because there was 2 meetings that ended up happening, right? There was the players meeting where Kyler Murray was in the front row and everybody was sporadically, sitting. And then there was the coaches meeting. The coaches meeting, for the most part, the majority of the coaches were sitting in the back row. There was one coach in the front and everybody else was just spread out. There's no continuity. There's no friendship. There's no, I guess continuity is the best way to say it, right? I'm always going to have this stick in my mind. When we lost against the Vikings, there was a comment that really resonated with me. And he told me this: ha ha ha, you guys are a team. We are a family. That's what he said for the Seahawks. I'm sorry, not Seahawks, the Vikings game. I apologize. In my reaction video, when I was pissed off, somebody went ahead and let me know. And he said that to me, and that's resonated with me. He said, you suck. The Cardinals will never go anywhere. Here's the difference. You guys are a team. We are a family. And honestly, I think he can't be, I think he can't be, I don't think he's wrong. I think everybody there is there so A, they won't get fined. B, they obviously, it's a job, right? They get paid for it. It helps them fund their family. It helps them, do everything they need to do, pay their bills, feed their family, have a roof over their head. That's what it does, right? It's a job. I don't think it moves past that. I think Cliff Kingsbury so desperately wants this to work that he is all about football. I'm not doubting his football brilliance. I'm not doubting it. I think he's probably smart. I don't know him personally. I don't know. But I do truly think that completely resonated with me that, yeah, we're not a family. This Arizona Cardinal organization comes together by a paycheck. And I think it's obvious. think it's obvious after this Hard Knocks, or I guess it re-emphasizes from this Hard Knocks episode that came out. Let me get to Jason here. He says, to me, Kyler seems childish and passive aggressive. I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, I can't disagree with you. I can't disagree with you at all. And here's the thing. We can't solve all our battles by telling everybody to shut the F up and walk away. That's not going to win you a battle. We saw it with DeAndre Hopkins. We saw it with Cliff. So here's the big thing, ladies and gentlemen. This is where my worrisome comes from. We talked about it in yesterday's podcast, is that year 4 for Kyler Murray is going to be very, very telling. It's going to be very, very telling, because the moment we start to see a crack in the locker room, the moment we start to see this Arizona Cardinal falter, one of the two people that are going to get blamed is Cliff and Kyler. Number 2 people to do it. And obviously this Hard Knocks episode really didn't help Kyler, because what he said to D-Hop, during this altercation, that everybody was like, oh, they're just, friends. Mike, don't think too much into it. They're only talking football. Bros and boys and girls. D-Hop was pissed. D-Hop said, boy, what are you looking at? Indicating that he's not getting the ball. And Kyler told him, Kyler looked at him and he said, calm the F down, you will get the ball. Calm the F down, you will get the ball. And the funny thing? The second half of that game, DeAndre Hopkins didn't get very much receptions going to him. That's a little funny. That's a little funny to me. Let me get to AZ Sports Girl in the contribution. It says, college courses got me because I'm in college. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Legit. I mean, I went to college as well. Boring. It was terrible. You're watching somebody with a little pointer, and it's a situation where you're in a dark room just looking at a wall. Let's be honest. You're not focusing all the 100% time, right? Unless you're a straight A student that wants to get the highest of academics. Most people aren't like that. People are going to be sitting there daydreaming. Oh man, I wish I was playing Call of Duty right now. Oh man, I was with my daughter. I wish I was with my wife, my girlfriend, whatever it is. People start daydreaming and stuff like that. It's like they're trying to do the right things, but with the people that we have right now, it doesn't seem like it's really resonating with the people we have, if that makes sense. Let me get to Alex here real quick. It says, it sounds like Cliff is just saying things to say things. I don't feel anything from his speeches, so I can imagine the players don't eat. Boom! Alex, yeah, you're right. Alex with the huge, yeah, you're 100% facts. And here's the situation. Here's the situation of it all, ladies and gentlemen. If you're sitting in year 4, you shouldn't be having these conversations, right? You probably have players that don't see the end vision of this. You probably have players that started with Cliff and don't really see very much progress. To Cardinal fans, we look at it and we're like, okay, yeah, right, 5, 8, 11. To players, they're probably like, we're never going to win a Super Bowl with this guy. They probably already know. So you're right. I think that's the best way to describe it. When you're hearing him say these speeches, you're hearing him say these right things, but in truth be told, the players are looking at him, they're like, can we go now? We done? Right? Imagine you got a new supervisor. Imagine you got a new manager coming to your job and try to tell you what to do. And this is their first day on the job, and you know your job like the back of your hand. It's the same thing. You're going to be like, all right. You want to take the trash out? All right. Well, all right, I guess. You want me to do this? Because you think it's going to sell more? Okay, I guess. Whatever. You know what I mean? It's what it feels like. It's what it feels like. Jason with another super chat. He says $230 million. Why did he get that? He can never be wrong. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I wish I can give you the answer, right? Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I was one of those guys that said you should pay Kyler. I did. So if I need to eat crow later on because I found out that I was wrong, I'll eat crow. I will. I absolutely will. I don't think this helps at all. Absolutely. I don't think this helps the narrative of Kyler Murray. It doesn't. You get into an argument with your star wide receiver that has proven a lot more than you've already proved, coming into the NFL. Kyler hasn't proved anything. He got a $230 million contract. Good, kudos. But has he really proved anything? You shouldn't be yelling at your star wide receiver and saying things like, calm the F down, you will get the ball, and don't give him the ball. So I'm starting to see things here, right? Obviously, my narrative is changed a lot. And I think it's funny because a lot of people are like, your mind changes so much, Mike. You're flip floppy. You flip here, you flip that because you can never be consistent. Yeah, absolutely. The NFL is an emotional roller coaster, ladies and gentlemen. If I'm saying the same thing over and over and over again, and I'm telling you, no, Kyler Murray is great. Kyler Murray is going to come back up when we're a 3-6 team. I would tell you to unsubscribe because this guy doesn't know a damn thing. He's just a person that loves Kyler. Nah, I'm an Arizona Cardinal fan through and through. Whoever quarterback, I'm going to support. But there's flaws. The way that things are going about things, I'm not happy with. Truly, deep down in my soul, I do feel like Kyler needs a new coach. Truly, deep down in my soul, I think this Arizona Cardinal team needs a new leadership. Because you can look in this Hard Knocks episode when Cliff was saying all the right things. It didn't help. When Budda Baker was saying all the right things, it didn't help. How do you not want to fight for Budda Baker? How do you not want to fight for Budda? Budda was crying. Budda was sitting there and saying, guys, I am sick of losing at home. Can we do this? Start watching more film. Start recovering. Do this, do that, do this. And it didn't help. That gives you a deeper look into this organization and really coming down to the nitty gritty of, man, maybe we just ain't that good. So much expectations coming into the season. Maybe we just ain't that good. I don't want to believe, right? I don't want to believe that Kyler collected the paycheck and now he's bad. We've seen Kyler be good. It's just, can we get somebody to wrangle in his, I'm not going to call them anger issues, but his tantrums? Can we get somebody to rein him in? Because as of right now, the way I look at it is the fact that Kyler Murray has got so much potential. And I get it, right? The whole NFL is based on potential. Yeah, and you could be wrong, you could be right. I get it. Got so much potential to be a great quarterback. My biggest problem that I'm seeing with Kyler is that nobody can tell him anything. Not even your star wide receiver that's proved that he is an excellent asset for you can tell anything to Kyler. Kyler gets pissed off. Kyler goes and sulks. Kyler says things like, calm the F down. I'll give you the ball. And he didn't get the ball. We need somebody to wrangle get this young man and say, look, you're not right all the time, but I will make you great if you follow these steps. If you follow me to the promised land, we don't have to worry about these losses anymore. We need somebody with the voice. We need somebody with leadership skills and not letting a player that's 25 years old running all over a head coach, because that's what it looks like. In JJ Watt's press or post speech, JJ Watt says this: you need to look at yourselves in the mirror. And I'm talking about everybody in this locker room needs to look ourselves in the mirror and say, are you doing enough for us to win? Are you doing enough to win? Everybody, and this is even including your $230 million contract, you need to look yourself in the mirror and really come down to the nitty gritty and say, should I have yelled at DeAndre Hopkins, or should I instead have gotten to a moment where we're both looking at the tablet together and say, let's do this, DeAndre Hopkins. I'm sorry, that's on me. The best leader is the ones that admit they're wrong. Those are the best leaders that go places, that want to make the other people succeed. It's not about them. Leaders are not me-based. Leaders are, how do I make my team better? That's our leaders. That's what I want to see that's what I want to see Kyler Murray do. Instead of yelling at him and says, calm the F down, I'm going to get you the ball, take DeAndre Hopkins, sit down with him, grab the tablet and say, this is what we're going to do moving forward. That's what I would have loved to see from Kyler. That's what I would have loved to see from him, and we didn't. We didn't. So, I mean, we're here, right? We're here. So let's get this going. We got MGO coming with the super chat. He says, man, I'm jealous of the Seahawks. They look happy playing football and fun to watch. It's sad. We need new people and a new energy around this team. You're 100% facts, man. You're true. You're right. It's deeper. It is. I know it's easy, right? It's easy to say, let's do this, let's do that, right? Everybody's to blame. And you're right. You're right to an extent. You're 100% right. We do need new leadership. Cliff, I'm sorry. You might be one of the most nicest guys in the world. You have a really nice house. You're rich. You got things going for you. You should buy yourself a yacht. You just do things, hang out, invest in some tech companies. You're good. It's just right now, we're where we are as a Cardinal organization. He can't bring us back. Steve Keim shouldn't continue to get his job either, which one thing that concerns me is that Steve Keim and Michael Bidwell are like this. And that concerns me. That Michael Bidwell and Steve Keim are like this. Steve Keim, why are you so upset? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I get why you're upset. We're doing bad. I get it. You want to win. We want to win too. But you put this team out there. This offensive line that you put out there for Kyler Murray, you put out there. This pass rush that can't get to the quarterback on a consistent basis, you put that out there. This tight end that you drafted in the second round, you drafted that player. So I get it. Like, I understand that, Cliff, I keep saying Cliff, I'm sorry, Keim and Bidwell, they want to win too. They look pissed off. They didn't look happy that we lost, and I'm happy. I'm glad Michael Bidwell isn't happy because we're not happy either. But one thing that we also got to acknowledge is that the people who put this team together is the one is sitting right next to you. And that's Steve Keim. Steve Keim put this offensive line together. Steve Keim put that defensive line together, and it's not doing its job. It's not protecting Kyler, and it's not getting to the quarterback on a consistent basis. So I would be damned if Keim is not going away along with, in a trash bag. I would be damned if he's not going away with Cliff, if Cliff ends up leaving. I would be damned. And here's the thing. I do see you right there. I see somebody in my chat. He says, yeah, we need offensive line help. Oh, facts. Oh, 100%. We do need offensive line help. Here's the thing. Here's what the Arizona Cardinals are doing. And they're trying to, make us happy because they're still making moves. But truth be told here, ladies and gentlemen, this is what the Arizona Cardinals are resorting to right now because of what we've drafted, because of who we brought in free agency, because our lack of depth, because of Steve Keim. This is the reason why we're bringing in players like this. This guy was a third-round pick, got drafted by the Vikings in 2021, and he's already seen as a bust to the Vikings. This is why we're in this position. This is why we traded for Robbie Anderson, which he hasn't got any production. This is why we traded for Trayvon Mullen. We don't see him on the field. This is why we traded for Cody Ford, but Cody Ford is only there because Justin Pugh got hurt. It's the story of our lives. It's the story of our lives. It's just, when you go through such a traumatic experience, a traumatic event in your life, and I'm going to be putting this Arizona Cardinal team, making sure that you guys are, obviously everybody in the chat, I'm assuming are Cardinal fans, we're all going through a traumatic experience in our life right now, right? We go through the 5 stages of grief. Same thing with this Arizona Cardinal team. It's a long season. About 6 months of your life. Right? 6 months of your life that we have to endure this. And we see it happen time in and time again, and nothing's being changed. And I think that's where everybody's struggling with. That's where everybody's finding a trying to get better situation. And nobody's able to do it because Cliff can't do it. He can't. It's obvious. He's saying all the right things, but it's not resonating with the players. Jason again with another super chat. He says, Mike, can you do more Suns content much better? There's a lot of great content creators for the Suns right now. There's a lot of great content creators for the Suns. As of right now, no. But I will keep it pinned for now. We'll see what happens in the future, but I appreciate the super chat, dude. Let's keep it going right now. Let's move over to Chance with the super chat. He says, if Colt McCoy starts this week against the Rams and our offense really starts rolling, oh boy, we are in some serious trouble. Exactly. Chance, me and you right here, we are in the same wavelength. The same wavelength. Because you're right. I feel the exact same way. Imagine a world that we're sitting in here where Colt McCoy comes in and gets this offense going. You know how different this narrative is going to be spinned. And you know how different everybody's going to start looking at Kyler Murray. Oh boy. One thing you don't want to do is somebody take your job. Now, granted, yes, Kyler Murray is not, it's probably not up to him. He does have a hamstring issue at this very moment. I'm not sure if he's going to be available on Sunday, but you're right. Imagine there is going to be blood in the water. And at that very moment, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing I can say or do to try to change your mind. You have a narrative. You stick with it. If it's Colt McCoy or Goat McCoy and you think he's going to take us, then hey, you keep preaching it. I want success for this team. I really do. But imagine this. I don't know there, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if I'm quite 100% ready for that realization if he can come out here and do it for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, that's what my poll was specifically asking for when I ended up posting this poll right here. Who's starting this week for the Arizona Cardinals at quarterback? I wasn't saying that Kyler needs to be benched. I wasn't saying that Kyler Murray sucks. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Kyler Murray has an injury, right? And he can possibly miss week 10. So that's where this poll came from. So just FYI, whoever got upset or got pissed off that I asked that silly question, right? Because a lot of people were like, you're dumb. All right, cool. Whatever. We keep it moving. We keep it moving. Yeah, I mean, it's the realization, right? It's the realization of, hey, maybe. Jason, man, you're the real one, man. Appreciate you. You're the real one. He says, can Devin Booker be our QB and Monty be our head coach? Well, let's be honest here. And Monty Williams definitely greater than Devin Booker. I'm sorry, than Cliff for sure. And here's the thing, right? Like there was so much drama with Monty Williams and DeAndre Ayton. There was so much drama going into the season. And what happens? You just got to squash it. You got to fix it. Get results. Everything fixes itself. That's the truth of the nature here, right? If you don't win, people are going to keep talking. The narrative might change, that the fingers might be pointing to a different person, but if you don't win, it's going to keep happening. The best cure for this is for us to win. That's the best cure. That's the best cure of this all. Win. That's it. Buddha wants to win. It seems like he might be the only one that wants to win the way he's talking, the way he gets his speeches out there. It seems like he's the only one that wants to win. And obviously, I'm being a little fetish. Was that word? Is it facetious or whatever the heck that word is? Yeah, obviously, I think that Buddha wants to win. He's sick of it. He's sick of losing. I'm sick of losing as a Cardinal fan, and I ain't doing nothing but sitting on my couch or sitting in the stands watching my Cardinal team getting destroyed, obliterated, time in and time again. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We are going to get another episode of Hard Knocks next Wednesday. So if you did like my recap, hopefully you did. I know it was a little jumbled up everywhere, but I kind of gave you the main points of what you're kind of really looking for. And one of the biggest things I was looking for was I'm so glad that they caught the audio from DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray's interaction because I thought that was gold. I thought that was absolutely gold. That was a very good interaction. And I'm so darn happy that they recorded it. Because everybody told me when I posted my tweet, I was like, oh my God, let's look it up, y'all. The Arizona Cardinals are falling apart. And everybody's like, you must not play football, Mike, because they're probably just talking ball right now. And I'm like, well, if somebody's doing this and yelling, I don't think they're talking ball. Somebody's yelling at somebody because somebody's not happy. And here comes Hard Knocks proving my point again that DeAndre Hopkins isn't happy with his production on this offense. And you don't want to get a rift between those two. Let me tell you that, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want a rift between your superstar wide receiver and your quarterback. You do not want a rift between those two. Because Kyler said, calm the F down. I will get you the ball. And in the second half, DeAndre Hopkins didn't get very much balls getting thrown to him. It was the Rondale Moore show. It was the Rondale Moore show. So, I mean, it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. We still got 8 more games. I know there's some positive fans out there that really want to kind of come down to say, hey, Mike, we're going to win 8 straight games. Okay, cool. I mean, if you think that, keep praying. We'll see how it goes. Let's see what Alex says here with the super chat. He says, all things aside, I'm still going to support the Cardinals with everything I got, as unfortunate as that may be for my well-being. Oh, facts, bro. I mean, yeah, we're not going anywhere, right? I mean, Arizona Cardinal fans, like, we're used to it. We absolutely are. This channel isn't going anywhere. It's not like I created this channel because we were a good team. Like, I created this channel because, like, I finally got the cojones to come out here and give my opinion out. Because in the beginning, in my first year, people used to say all these mean things to me, right? You suck. Have you ever played football? Blah, 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 blah. You don't know what's going on. Blah, 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 blah. So it's hard to come out here and sit and talk to 100 and 150 people, or on my post games. In my post games, we had like 250 people here at night. So it's hard to talk this many people, right? You know, creating a show and stuff like that. This channel isn't going anywhere because we suck. It isn't. It's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get stronger. It's only going to get more of a situation where if you need a therapy session and if you want to have, you know, misery loves company, you know where to go. On the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. So let's continue to read the comments here. I appreciate everybody that super chatted so far. I know we have some people kind of talking back and forth in the chat, adding at each other. So you guys continue to do your thing. I'm not going to get into your guys' conversation. We got Eddie saying, bro, I haven't seen Eddie Spaghetti in a hot sec. My goodness, I almost forgot. Woo, buddy. What's up, brother? Appreciate you for being here. AZ Sports Fan is Kyler Murray lover. Guys can't make no. Appreciate you, Jesus. Thank you so very much. Let's keep it going here. He says, Kyler apologizes are full of excuses. Like, bruh, make adjustments or no excuses. Well, that's what we're sitting at, right? That's where we're at. That's where we're at right now, where we have Kyler Murray saying all the right things. We have Cliff saying all the right things. But honestly, at this very moment, you're kind of sitting here and you're really kind of coming down to the nitty gritty and saying things like, if you're not making any, if you're not making anything happen on the field, then what's the point of listening? Before the Seahawks game, Kyler told us we know what's at stake. We have everybody fired up in this locker room, but it's like we're told the things that we want to hear. We're told the things we want to hear. I mean, obviously he said all the right things that got people fired up, but in truth be told, it's like, is everybody in the locker room really feeling the same way, or is this just Kyler Murray talking? You know what I mean? It's we'll see. Rondell Moore has been productive AF. Yeah, I mean, if your quarterback's throwing the ball to you, the last like 20 times. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to be productive. Rondell Moore had a really good game. And it sucks because DeAndre Hopkins almost kind of seemed to be phased out. Now, granted, yes, it probably was easier to send to Rondell Moore because he's the slot compared to the outside wide receivers. But I mean, I just hope that there's no rifts. There's no rifts between your wide receiver and quarterback. We got somebody saying, okay, we ain't going anywhere. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Let's keep it going here. Kyler stands are like LeBron stands. They can't do no wrong, man. Except LeBron exactly won something. Yeah. I think this is why I focus on the super chats. I don't even know. So sometimes I don't understand what people are talking about in the chat. That's why I focus on the super chats. All right. I appreciate you, DMNK. Thank you so very much for saving the day. I don't know what this chat's talking about this very moment. Look, I think you guys are just talking to yourself or each other. He says, get Sean Payton, a proven GM, and then draft a cornerback, a defensive end, or an offensive lineman. You know what the funny thing, DMNK? This is exactly what we said in the beginning of the season, right here. This is exactly what we said, except for obviously Sean Payton and proven GM. Well, we've been talking about GM for a long time, so I guess we'll talk about the GM. Everything that you said in this super chat, except for Sean Payton, we said draft a cornerback, somebody in that defensive line, and an offensive lineman. That's what we said. Exactly what we said. And what did Steve Keim do? He got yourself a tight end. A tight end, ladies and gentlemen. I can't believe he was still on the board. Steve Keim told us. I can't believe he was on the board, ladies and gentlemen. And he still hasn't done anything for the Arizona Cardinals at this very moment. Now, I don't think that's the fault of Trey McBride. Like, it wasn't the fault of Zaven Collins, and now we're starting to see him blossom. But if your first year or your high draft picks aren't producing in year 1, year 2, then it's like, why'd you bring him in? You know what I mean? Why'd you bring him in? So it's tough. Logan said he's a rookie. Well, here's the thing. Well, yeah, he's a rookie, but I mean, so was Zaven, right? How does Zaven get better? By being on the field. How does Isaiah Simmons get better? By being on the field. That's how you get better. You just don't get better by film. It's instincts. That's how you get better at the game of football. And players have said this time and time again. It's nothing that you're I mean, you can learn on film, right, with what you've done. But if your body can't do what your brain is telling you, then you're as good as a sitting duck. It's what your body can do. It's based off of instincts. He needs the reps. He needs the real-time reps. Trey McBride is going to find himself next year probably being a starter. Hopefully, fingers crossed, being a starter. And it's going to be the same thing as Isaiah Simmons and Zaven Collins. He's going to need time to accommodate. When everybody wants a proven commodity, let's get you going right now. You're a high draft pick. What are you going to do for the Cardinals? And it's going to take him a while to kind of get to that level. Hopefully not, because he's more on the offensive side of the ball compared to the defense. So, I mean, we'll see. Let's get to Chance with the super chat. He says, can we talk about Robbie Anderson's major drop? Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. Dude, I made a whole video about Robbie Anderson and being that, like, Robbie Anderson really has been a disappointment for the Arizona Cardinals. When we drafted Robbie Anderson, I kid you not, ladies and gentlemen, my first reaction was, all right, cool. I guess, right? Like, that was my initial reaction. Robbie Anderson didn't give me the butterflies. Robbie Anderson didn't give me the, all right, let's go. We're going to the Super Bowl. No, what I initially said was Robbie Anderson. Okay, the best thing about Robbie Anderson is we got someone to yell at Cliff. Right? He yelled at his coaches in the Panthers, in Carolina Panthers. He could yell at Cliff Kingsbury. Please, for the love of God, yell at Cliff. I mean, he hasn't done anything. He's so far in 3 games, 1 reception, -4 yards on a screenplay. Like, dang, y'all. Like, that was a big drop, right? Robbie Anderson coming up the middle. Kyler Murray could have converted that 3rd down, and boom, drops it right in his mitts. It's true. It's absolutely true. Robbie Anderson, on paper, to me, I do think we got good value from him, right? We just got rid of a late round pick. It's not a big deal, but on paper, I think it's a good thing. The problem is the Arizona Cardinals. To the day, we still have Cliff saying, I don't have time to teach him, bruh. You don't have time to teach a wide receiver that's been doing this for years. He's a pro. He doesn't have to be taught. Just give him the playbook and say, this is what you need to learn. If you're not doing it, then you're getting off the field. AJ Green, you suck. You don't turn around, but still, we'll put you on the field. Give him the opportunity. Throw him out there. There's no teaching here. If your scheme is that complex, then we might start needing to look at a different scheme, because we all knew with the whole Mike McCoy. Remember Mike McCoy and how dysfunctional, I should say, his offensive scheme was? It's garbage. It's garbage. Garbage. So we'll see. We'll see. My reaction was, okay, let's see what he does first, but we won't play him if he's a rookie. Trey McBride, you're still talking about? Well, I mean, we all knew that he wasn't going to get a starting spot because we have Zach Ertz, right? Like, that's also the argument too. Like, you draft a tight end very high in the draft, and then you have Zach Ertz as your tight end 1. Like, what are we doing? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like almost already setting him up to fail. Like, you have to wait for Zach Ertz to retire, which he's got like 2 or 3 more years before we start seeing him blossom into a number 1, if he can be that number 1. So that's kind of another situation that we're dealing with, right? Like, you can look at it in all sorts of the aspects of it all. Like, hey, yes, we got Trey McBride. He's got so much potential, but if he can't be on the field because he can't be a number 1, and the team highly favors veterans and the people that they pay, then what's the point of Trey McBride if he's not going to get the actual opportunity? Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. If not, okay, that's the best I got. Let's keep. Why did we draft a tight end? We had Earth, and that's the point. Yep, Frankie, me and you, we're kind of in the same wavelength. It's a lot of things that we can kind of look at, right? A, why did we draft the tight end? B, why is he not available? C, why is all our high draft picks waiting a year before they produce, right? Because I would rather them learn on the field and get beat as opposed to them sitting on the bench and the undrafted free agents or the free agents that we have get beat. Like, what's the point? You know what I mean? It's just kind of what it is. All right. We are hitting our hour mark, ladies and gentlemen. We are hitting our hour mark. We do have a comment here. It says, Keim New, both Hudson and Pugh wanted to retire and didn't do a I see what you mean. Thing to fix his idea of being a GM is to beg. Man, where did that comment go? It's to beg someone who doesn't want to play to come back. Bro, you speaking, bro. You speaking. Yeah, oh, I agree. I agree. I mean, the GM needs to go too. There's no doubt in my mind that the GM needs to go. Oh, 100%. It's factual. Yeah, the GM needs to go. But before everybody was even talking about the GM, I've been trying to get him fired like 2 or 3 years ago. Steve Keim needed to go. So Keim, I wanted to get fired in my first year of podcasting. I said, Keim sucked. He's terrible. We ended up getting DeAndre Hopkins, and everybody's like, see, he's good. And I'm like, no, he's not good. Trust me. Keim sucks. I was trying to get him in my first year fired. After my second year of podcasting, I wanted to get Cliff fired, and everybody said I was dumb. And now we're sitting here year 4, and we're dealing with this situation. It's what it is. Regardless of when you said it, it doesn't matter. We've said it before. He should have gotten fired. Facts. Appreciate the super chat, by the way, DMNK. Thank you so very much. But no, we're going to pick up McBride. All right, y'all, let's do this. I appreciate everyone for coming in here. We got the hour mark coming in here right now. We have 115 people right now. This is your first time here on the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. Definitely do me one huge favor. This is the spot you want to be. If you want to kind of go back and forth and bicker in the chat, this is where you need to be, because I think we've had a conversation going for like an hour right now in the chat. So definitely shout out to the people that are very passionate about their team. Thank you, everybody, for coming through. If you guys haven't already smacked the like button, definitely do me one huge favor. Smack the like button. Do it for the algorithm. And let's see if we can continue to grow this channel as big as we possibly can make this. If you guys did like this live stream, we are trying to do this every day, Monday through Thursday at 10:30 a.m. AZ time. This is where you need to be. If you're at work, if you're doing laundry, if you're at school, if you're doing God knows what right now, if you have some time, tune into the AZ Sports Fan here at 10:30 Monday through Thursday, and we can talk everything Arizona Cardinals, y'all. Your favorite team, my favorite team. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. As always, it's been a pleasure. Have a great rest of your day, and go Cards. Later, guys.